I mean, not all of us. Individually, some of us, not so much. Individually, some of us meet the end of our contract. Individually, some of us are at a crossroads and have choices to make, which will dictate if we're going to be okay or not. Collectively, as a planet and the rising of the divine feminine and how this all goes collectively, I mean, yeah, we going to be okay. We're going to be okay. That does not mean that we come out unscathed. It does not mean that we are not going to be left with scars. But essentially, we're going to be okay. This is just to remind everybody that this is based on tarot and it's for entertainment purposes only. But basically we have one loop over here ending. We have a woman who's going to fall from her pedestal, from her ladder. We have a man who is reaching the end of his contract and whose legacy, whose downfall, whose karmic justice has come home to roost. It is the hanged man. It is doomed. It is coming. It is fated. There is nothing that can stop this downfall. There's no moves on the chessboard that can stop this downfall. Okay, like they all going down in a sense of how they are supposed to, and the woman attached to the old man will also fall off her pedestal. She is in the process right now of trying to culminate a different narrative because she knows that soon she is going to be the grieving widow. For example, let me cut to a little clip so you can understand what I mean by grieving widow. Now we have the new takeover. The new takeover, everyone's like, oh, the new villain in the movie gonna be worse. The new villain in the movie gonna be worse. The new villain in the movie wears eyeliner and blonde wigs and has changed his name 4 times and overcompensates for his small assets to play on a bigger stage. But even the karmic reaper, karmic justice, is coming for that brigade and everything connected to it. That's going to take a little longer to deconstruct and fall, but it falls through the same attributes. It doesn't matter what the plan is. Like I said, there's only so many moves on the chessboard, and you can't stop fate and destiny, even if it's your demise. You can't even stop your demise, especially if you've had it coming. Now, I will say that the first person that I talked to signed up for this. They came here to be the villain. That's why they've gotten this far. I'll say that the second person, the predecessor, the person who takes over after the emperor with no clothes is buried and gone. He chose this. Every crossroads, every chance he had to make a different decision, every love that could have changed him, every honest moment he could have taken, he chose the latter. He didn't heal. He chose this. That's the difference between a soul contract that came here to be it and a soul that came here to defeat it and chose this path. Don't worry, even when we come down here and choose wrong, we still have a chance for redemption on the other side. We get to relive it. We get to try again. And if we fail enough times, we get to be a villain for as many times as that takes too. And you might not like that answer. I really don't give a shit. It's out of my control. But even as I roll into year 2, as I roll into next year, as I roll into the next 2 years of things that got to play out, very specific to 2027 and beyond, I can tell you that we start to see the divine feminine rise even more. We start to see women leadership come up even more. We start to notice that it's the same enemy in younger clothes. We start to come together as a people. We start to grab the stick and steer our own boats instead of letting the elite steer it for us. We have jumped on the cruise ship and for some reason don't care where it's taking us. Does that sound familiar to history? Almost like it never ended. It just got painted with different colors. Almost like we're in a house of 1,000 colors. A prison of our own making, if you will. But there are bridges that must be burned. There's sacrifices that have to be made, and there's healing here. There's healing that has to happen among us. There's forgiveness that has to happen among us. There's sacrifices that have to be made. And we're going to have to help lead some people out of the dark forest. And there's going to be some people that are stuck there. They cannot be saved. They cannot be watered. They will not be changed. They are who they are. And we're going to have to see realities too. We're going to have to quit sugarcoating shit or hoping for the best. We need to see the realities of the situations and the lives that we lead. But going into the future, I have the tower in reverse, which means after all the previous towers from previous readings have crumbled, have tumbled to the bottom, we get to a point where with the help of women and women leadership, we rebuild a better future. I'm not going to say it's completely spiritual in the way that it needs to be, because we have to understand the bigger problem, which is white and blue, and leaders of a certain country that have too much money, too much influence, too much everything into the United States government. It's going to have to be completely overhauled. When I said it all has to burn down to be rebuilt, because that's what the card said, I meant that shit. But I will say that it's going to take a long time to financially recover from this. I'm not going to lie. That doesn't mean individually for us, but collectively as a nation, as a country, we got robbed. The greatest heist in history. They're going to write so many movies about the truths of what is happening right now. But it's going to take us a while. Like we going to feel like the Tiger King. We going to feel like Joe. I'm never going to financially recover from this, but we will. But we will. It's just going to be a choice of whether we go back into this closeted, unawakened thinking, or whether we take it into the future, into a new path, and actually start listening to the women, to the good people, to the right side. The truth is, we can have it all. We can have universal health care. Everybody can get paid a living wage. We can live in harmony and happiness. We can still have obstacles and struggles like normal human beings, but we don't have to suffer at the level that we are suffering. We chose this. At Crossroads, we chose this for decades. And I know you're thinking like, bitch, I ain't chose this. Like, felt valid. But at some point, even your soul on the other side did. So no matter what your argument is, we chose this. We may have not made decisions 60 years ago because we weren't born yet, but we still chose to come here to fight it, to battle it. Maybe we were on the other side and we were looking at Reagan and we were looking at other things going on and we were looking at Nixon and we were like, you know what? Give me a contract. I got this. I'll go down there and handle this shit. They fucking shit up. Knowing that the future was going to be 100 times worse, 1,000 times worse, 1,000,000 times worse. Look at us now. Crashing and burning. This is so much more than secret phone calls being recorded. And keep in mind, they tried to take that newspaper down. They tried to discredit those journalists that released the story about Watergate. The whole country tried to take them down. And because certain people made certain choices at Crossroads to go the right path, we did set things right momentarily. But when you put a Band-Aid on a fracture with a bone sticking out of your leg, it doesn't really heal correctly. And then it just keeps being fucked up, and you walking up with a fucked up limp, and people are like, damn, he a pimp. But really, you just tried to put a Band-Aid on a wound that needed much more strategic surgery, rebuilding, nuts and bolts, time, reality, maybe some pain meds. Anyway, at this point, yes, we're going to be okay. When are we going to be okay? Well, baby, that's up to us, the people. Again, tarot cards, entertainment. Entertainment purposes only, but to be fair, we always gonna be okay.